started. We already started their conversation.
Get two talkers in one group.
Welcome to In the Spotlight. Your girl Lisa, Baltimore Paparazzi, and I have Mr. Xavier James.
Hello.
Like I said, I know him by many other names. Like it was like every time we crossed paths, it was like I don't go by that anymore. I'm like, what? Yeah. I've always known you as Oz, though. Yeah. That's how I've always known you as. And then I think I came to a show and it was the Mighty Eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, but that's Oz. Because I seen your name on the flyer and I was like, I don't even know these people. And then I was like, well, that's Oz. So, and I know we talked about this before about you changing your name to your name.
James,
because that is
my government name.
Your name.
Both my middle names.
Yeah. Okay. So you are a child that has two middle names?
Yes.
Both of my children have two names, and my grandson has two names, and my soon-to-be granddaughter has two middle names.
Well, yeah, that's mom and dad. But yeah, the Oz thing was, and honestly, I'd still have the name if it weren't for like legality and shit. Like,
yeah, I've had
TV shows, movies, shit like that.
I've had a couple of people tell me they've had to change their names or the spelling of the name because of the same thing with the legal aspect. Somebody's already copywritten it or whatever. I'm trying to think. Somebody just told me, I think it was Big Steve from Baltimore Records. I think he had to do something, he had to change something as well because of the same thing.
Right.
So, and we were talking before we even started, and that's why I went ahead. I was like, well, it's a minute till 6, so you know. But we were talking about, you know, when people seeing the glitz and glamour, but what they really don't know about is all the legal stuff behind that glitz and glamour.
All the paperwork and all that extra shit.
So the name change came because of legally.
Yeah. I can't copyright shit with that name.
Right.
The Mighty Eye, Mr. Mighty Eye, whatever. That actually came from a song that I did where I just like couldn't figure out what I wanted to put in this one space of music. So I said something like Mighty Eye something. And as I was going through the name change, I was just like, oh, that's kind of dope. But I never felt like it fit me. And I would do shows and people were still calling me Oz. And I was just I liked the name initially. Like you have those moments where you're like, oh, I really like this. And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, that's bullshit.
Right. That's not, it was just hype.
I couldn't think of like another cool rapper name or whatever. My sister calls me a combination of both of my middle names, Xavier and James. So she calls me James. So I was like, I don't want to use that because it's kind of lame. Like it's just a thing between me and my sister. So I was like, Xavier James. And I started thinking about it. I was like, because I want to be included in that, as far as a musician, that elite performer, musician. And you think about it a lot. There aren't many, or like now I'm thinking about it now, but there aren't many artists that I've seen that have like that one name that like stands out besides like Prince or Seal or, you know. Yeah. So Xavier James, you know, Stevie Stone, like Michael Jackson, so I just wanted to be included, like, or at least how I feel. I just wanted to be included in that, like, I guess 2-name elite category. Right. Whatever. That's just how it worked out for me, though. Like,
yeah, because that's like when you brought up Stevie Stone, because we both have a common love, and that's strange music.
Yes. Yes.
Strange music. We actually ran into each other at the show, which that was so awesome because I went there by myself, and I was like, I knew I was going to see people there, but I wasn't sure who was going to be there. And of course, it was so crowded in there, and I was like, you come up behind, I was like, hey.
Just pop up.
Right. But, you know, like, you can't say, like, I mean, like you said, Stevie Stone. When you say Stevie Stone, you know, boom. Right. Exactly. You know, you can't just say Stevie because it's Stevie Stone.
Right.
It's almost like it's two. It's two. Yeah, it's like 2 words, but it's one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you know exactly who that person is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, Tech Nine. Everyone knows. Whether you say Tech Nine and you're referring to the Tech Nine from Philly, from Battle Rap, or Tech Nine from Kansas City, Missouri, you know a Tech Nine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Chris Calico, same thing. Like, so I just wanted to be included, and even on a larger scale, I'm sorry, is, like I said, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson. Like, those two names, like you said, it's two names, but like, you know exactly who that person is.
It's two names, but it's just one. Like, you can't just, you know, I've never really thought about it that way, you know. And when you were talking about coming up with the rap name, I always wonder how people, certain artists come up with these names, because, and then, and especially in Baltimore, somebody was mentioning somebody to me, and I was like, oh, I know that person, and they come to find out they were talking about somebody totally different, because they got the same names, and it's just like, you know, it's Baltimore's so small, but it's big, but it's small, but it's big, you know. And
I mean, the one thing that I did, like, not being from Baltimore, like, just being entrenched in, I won't say entrenched because it's kind of deep, but like a part of the music scene here. And I love the fact that, like, Baltimore has its own slang and how you guys saw it, and to see that incorporated into, like, a lot of the artists. Like the lore thing. Like, I
can't get that.
Like, I was like, what the fuck is this?
I'm
like,
not from here. So, you know, I'm a transplant from 2003. So that whole I was like, L-O-R, that's not little, it's little.
But that's the, you know, I find it dope because it's like the combination of the slang, the accent, you know what I mean? Like, I think if that's what you want to do, by no means, I'm not the kind of person who knocks anybody for anything they want to do. For me, per se, it's more about, like, if you listen to my music, all my music is based in I do what the fuck I want. Like, I don't sound like anybody. I don't, like, everyone, actually, shout out to my man, Tim Blackman. He's the one person who always said to me, every one of your projects sounds completely different. Like, I can listen to your first project and your most recent project, and they don't, like, there's similarities because you have a sound, but, and nothing against anybody who does, like, the trap thing, or, like, did the Wayne thing back in the day, or did the, what was popping for a little bit, everybody had the Jeezy ad-libs for a while, like, just never my thing. Like, as we talked about before, I'm wildly influenced by Tech 9, and, like, that's not, I don't try to hide that shit, nothing. I'm big on that create your own lane, do your own thing style of pretty much everything. I mean, that's the whole premise behind my, like, I guess my logo statement, whatever, act the fuck up. It's like, do what you want. Like, do what you feel. Like, no, we're artists. And we have, I hate the term fans, but we have fans, followers, whatever. And who am I to pigeonhole or tell Lisa she should do her radio show this way? Lisa tell me, maybe you should make a song that sounds like this. I'll take that into consideration. But chances are, like, I've never chased, like, the radio thing. Ever. For what? For what? Like, everything sounds the same. I don't sound like that. I'm not going to step out of, like, I have no problem, like, incorporating those sounds, or
if that's what you want to do.
But everyone's like, yo, you sound like you sound like Tech, but you sound like, you know, this person, but you can also, you know, do this and do that. And that's one thing I pride myself on. It's like, you know, when I first started rapping, like, I was the big dude who could rap incredibly fast and had fucking this wild stage presence, like, walking around at 326, like, killing shows. And people were like, fuck, like,
he's not passed out yet.
And I don't take it light on stage at all.
No.
And it's work when we get up there, like.
And then you got the lights hitting you too, and
chances are I've been drinking all day.
Right.
Like, so, like, that for me is always, I feel, put me in a category of just, like, my own thing. Everyone's like, oh, it's big ass, we got to move it. Like,
but you know what gets me about your presence and your stage performance? It's just you. You have nobody hyping you up in the background. You got, you know, it's just you on stage. So everybody is focused on you. And my problem is when people get up on stage and they got like 20 people behind them, and I'm like, I'm looking at the drunk people and not paying attention to the artist because I'm watching the drunk people. So when you get on stage, like, it's always, every performance I've ever seen you do has been you on that stage. And that kind of reminds me like, because I got to see Tech for the first time in my life, see him live, and watched him do over 2 hours on that stage.
2.5 hours.
Like, you know, and he had Chris on stage with him, you know, doing the songs or whatever, but that, like, he was on stage by himself.
Yeah.
Focused. Everybody focused on him. And like, that's why, like I said, like, you also when Only performs, it's just that one person. And that's, I think that gives, like, my whole thing is, when I look at an artist, the music, so it has to be lyrics, the beat, and then your stage performance. It's all a combination.
Right. I mean, I just included, I actually have a hype man now.
Yeah.
My man Willie Griggs. And I just incorporated a DJ. DJ Muffins. Everybody clowns him or me Muffins. For that. But like, it actually fits perfectly into what I do. Like, I have this very aggressive style. And this DJ by the name of DJ Muffins. Like, and it, like, everyone's like, DJ Muffins? I'm like, it's a nickname, like his son gave him, like, or like something that involves his son. I don't know the whole backstory. And he's like, and I get flack for it all the time. And they're just like, really? That's your DJ's name? I'm like, again, going back to doing what I want.
Right.
My DJ's a grown-ass man with 2-3 kids. The fuck am I going to tell him, yo, look,
we got to change it. You got to change your name.
But, you know, but like, going back to the intensity thing, like, I've been to, I think the show I saw you at was my 11th or 12th Tech 9 show. But I go there, like, yeah, I'm a fan. Like, let's not get that twisted. I go there to study. Right. I don't go to shows, like, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm national.
Oh, that's fine. Usually it's already like this before I get in, and we have to clean up.
But like I said before, it's like, when I go see my friends, I'm there to support, When I go see artists that I admire, I'm at school. Like, I'm watching how you put things together. I'm watching you. Where am I lacking? What can I, you know, what part of your influence can I take and put it into my stage show? So yeah, I have a hype man now. Yeah, I have a DJ, but me being the forefront, you're still gonna get the same show. Right. Like, I told my hype man, I was like, if you can't keep up, this ain't the job for you. Right. Like, and you know, we're gonna see how it works out because we're playing next Friday. Yeah, next Friday at Ramshead Live. But you won't get the same energy with or without. Like, you won't get the same show. Like, I don't play around when it comes to being on stage. I don't play around when it comes to making music. I don't play around when it comes to being in a booth. None of that shit. Like, I take this very seriously. I love what I do. I love being a musician. And like, I was explaining the psychology, as we spoke about before, to a friend of mine, and he asked me, he was like, you don't have like 20 people on stage with you? For what? Like, why?
You know what I got told by somebody? Because I told him the same thing. I said, I don't like that. Right. I don't like seeing that. He was like, well, that's to hype the crowd. I said, then they should be in the crowd.
Like, and that makes perfect sense. Like, I explained it from 2 different angles. You touched on one of them. I was like, when you see somebody with 20, 30 motherfuckers on stage, right? Who are you watching?
I'm watching the drunk people.
You watching the drunk people. You watching the girl with her titties out. You watching to see if this girl fall over. You go watching to see if there's a fight going on. You're not watching the show you paid money to be at. Right. Doesn't make sense to me. On the second part of it is, let's say you got, just for the sake of argument, you have 50 people on stage, and the venue holds, for the sake of argument, 100, and there's 50 people in the crowd. So you have a sold out venue, but half the fucking crowd is on stage. Right. Like, and it looked like, and if you, again, going into the business side of it, you look at, like, at least how I see it, from the promoter aspect, where it's like, wow, we have a half full club right now. Right. And they come out of their office, oh shit, well, there's 1 million people on stage and our club's half full. But you had to get your man's in and his man's in and his girl and so on and so forth. It never made sense to me. Like, you see me, like, if I show up to a show, it's me, my DJ, my hype man, and possibly the girl that I'm dealing with at the time. Like, that's about it. And she's probably paid to be there. Like, I just don't, like, I love the artistry. There's just certain things I don't understand about what we do as artists or rappers. You don't see that shit with bands. You don't see bands on stage with
let me
other band members just hanging out and shit.
Let me tell you, talking from an aspect of somebody who threw shows.
Right.
I did that for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, coming from my aspect of being a, if you want to call it promoter, which I never said I was a promoter.
Right.
So I would have artists. Oh yeah, well so and so's doing a song with me, and so and so's doing a song with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm supposed to let them in for free? Cause they on one song? Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that. But then they want, I have a manager and I have
Right.
Yo.
I get it. I get it 100%.
Really? So I got all these, the club is packed. 5 seats would be packed.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you wanted me to like lose money, because like I wasn't even worried about the money aspect for myself. I had a staff to pay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's what a lot of people didn't understand. Is I paid the people that worked for me and helped me put this show together. I didn't do it by myself.
Right.
I wasn't running the door. I wasn't hosting. I wasn't DJing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't doing production because my daughter does production. So I learned all that from watching Billy Live and EC. Well, Frank Lewis.
Frank, if you're watching.
Right. So I learned from, and then watching other people do shows coming in. So like you said, when I would go to shows as taking pictures and stuff, I was also there scouting talent for my next show or upcoming shows. You know what I mean? So, and I really wonder, like, if the new generation, if they're even, if they're just caught up in all the hype, or if they're really studying. Now, I've talked to a few young ones,
right.
And I say young because they're a lot younger than me,
right.
But and a lot of them have had what I want to call like mentors almost, but it's people that have been, they were rappers and they learned the business as they were going along. So when little brother come to them like, I want to rap too. Okay, well what you got to do is you got to get your BMI or your ASCAP. You got to do the copyright. So some of that business, like, coming, I'm not sure, like, one question that, like I said, I never call these interviews, they're conversations, but one question that I do ask is, when did you realize this was something that you wanted to do?
Shit.
Like, when was the first time that you really realized that you wanted to be, you're not a rapper, you're an entertainer, you're an artist, so when was the first time that you realized that this was the path that you wanted to go down?
1999. I was 12, something like that. I remember because I was in bands. I play instruments and shit. That's one thing a lot of people don't know about me. I play guitar, I play bass. Like, I can fuck around with the drums a little bit. I remember watching Woodstock '99, like when they would play it on like little clips of it on MTV, like during that whole like whatever, I don't know, some crazy shit that happened. But I remember specifically watching Korn, and that was like my favorite band at the time. And the sea of people, just like, I'm talking about people looking like fluid, just like one section goes up, another one comes in, like it just looked like the craziest shit I had ever seen. So that from that day I was like, I want that. I don't know how to get it, but I want it. So obviously like picked up, started playing bass, and then from there learned how to play guitar and so on and so forth. Excuse me. And then I went to, I might be dating myself here, even though I'm not that old.
You're not. Because when you said 1999, you're like, I was 12. I was like, well, shit, you don't want to know how old I was.
But I went to a show, it was like my first hip-hop show that wasn't like a festival, it was like an actual hip-hop show. And I went to go see Twisted, because I was in a weird stage as a teenager, and I listened to like everything, from like ICP to Jay-Z to da-da-da-da-da. So I went to a Twisted show, and just to see the interaction between artist and crowd, it was at the Thunderdome, which I don't even remember what the fuck that was. But I know it was
I remember the name, but I'm like.
And it was like, so like it was around that like Bowhagers area, not area, but well, I guess area too. But I remember just seeing the interaction between Twisted and the crowd, and that's kind of what solidified me as wanting to be a rapper. I was like, it was more intimate. It was just like, if I play an instrument, like you can't really Nothing, no disrespect to anybody in a band or anything like that, but I'm a bit of an attention whore. So like as a bass player,
you don't get a whole lot of attention.
I want all of it.
Right. It's not like you're a guitar player and you're doing all these riffs and stuff.
Right.
And,
it's me and the drummer back here keeping time.
Right.
Da, 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 da. But from that, I was like, I still want the crowd interaction, and this actually plays into a lot of my live performances now. It's like the back and forth. Like you're just as much a part of the show as I am.
Right.
But that's what solidified it for me. And then like I just started. I was like, I want to rap. And then I made a bunch of real shitty songs. And
did you have a yes man say, "Oh,
no. Like my man Teddy, like I came up with like for those who don't know, I was in a group called Break Fast Records. Like
oh yeah.
Was
it Tom DeLay?
Yeah, Tom DeLay, A-Class, Teddy Faley, myself, Dirty, a couple others from New Jersey. So I had zero yes men. It was like all my friends.
I was gonna say Break Fast. Oh yeah, no.
Like,
Tom, I know Tom DeLay from, and of course A-Class.
Yeah.
And like yeah.
And like if shit was whack, you were gonna get told shit was whack.
And
like,
you would probably still hear about it the next day.
Yeah. I mean like when like Break Fast wasn't really a thing. I recall like no, that was before Break Fast, but they did a show and like literally like booked 3 of the 4 people, excluding myself, and like literally they were like, you're just not ready. Like your song strength isn't there.
Right.
Where like your flow isn't there. You're like, you know what I mean? And I wasn't even upset about it for real. Because like I knew, like I'm a perfectionist. Like I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be. Lyrically, flow-wise, any of that shit. Like I just was not there. Like I hold myself to a very high standard as far as like how I write and like flow and things like that. But from there, like I just kept working. Just kept doing it. We got our first show with Break Fast. And I was kind of where I wanted to be, but not exactly where I wanted to be. And from there, again, just kept going. Break Fast broke up. We all kind of started doing our solo thing. And I feel like that was actually the best move for all of us. We were this big-ass group of, we started as 5, and somehow that shit turned into like damn near 10.
Right.
At the time, Sonar only had 4 mics on the goddamn stage, and we had 9 people up there, so it just looked bad. We're trying to untangle mics between songs. And
because that was like nobody wanted to invest at that time into cordless mics. I think
I did eventually down the road. Right. But yeah, we did. From that, I think us breaking up as a group was the best thing because I got to learn the ins and outs and the kinks of my shows, like breath control and all right, you're gonna rap in this style, so what do you need to do to like how do you improve? Like I was a remote control in the hand in my room, acting like I'm in front of 15,000 people, but I'm also studying where I'm fucking up on songs. I feel like if you don't perform at the same level you would do a show at, you don't practice at the same level that you do a show at, you're on stage and not know what the fuck is going on. You know the songs.
Right.
But let's say you have a raucous crowd in front of you and you're just standing there like not looking them in the eye, nervously just looking at the monitors, trying to remember your next word, da 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 da. Don't get me wrong, I fucked up on stage a million times. But rarely do I fuck up a show. Right. Like the only time I fucked up a show is I was drinking 151 all night.
Ooh, no wonder. I'm surprised you could even get up on the stage.
I actually don't remember the show at all. But like I feel like if you're not doing it at the level that you would perform at, what are you doing it for? Like if you watch like the transition for like Drake is my prime example or my main example for this. If you watch how Drake has progressed as a performer, I feel like song quality he's gone backwards, but performance wise he's made like streamlined. If you watch Drake early, he always looked at the ground and closed his eyes and like he did that weird hand thing he was always doing, but now like Drake commands attention on stage. You know what I mean? We go back to the Tech 9 thing. That's where I learned the look you in your face, truthfully, and this is just for anybody who's ever been to a hip hop show, we might be looking you in the face,
but they don't see it.
I don't see it.
Right.
Like none of us see. We're so focused on what we're doing, or we're just in the moment. Like we don't.
But that interaction. What some people don't understand is that interaction with the crowd.
Yeah.
Because if they're not a fan,
right.
you interacting with them like that is going to make them say, "Oh, well, wait a minute, maybe I need to pay attention
right.
because." You know, he's looking right at me, and you know.
There's also that difference where if we notice you're not interacting, we're not looking at you. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just depends on.
I've noticed artists on stage that, like, I've been at Soundstage so many times, and I usually try to get on. Well, if you're looking at the stage, I used to try to get on this right hand side because I can get better pictures that way, especially with them stupid ass lights.
Yeah.
So. It also gives me, I'm a people watcher, so I watch people. So I'm watching the crowds and all, and if they're not engaging, or they're not, you know, or they're like how I usually am, is just kind of like looking at people, because I'm trying to absorb everything in. And like, if these people over here are not engaging with the artist, that artist will rarely come over here when they notice it. Right. They'll stay wherever people are giving them that attention. That's where they're going to go. They come over here, they try to get your attention, and they're not getting it. So like, why am I wasting my time?
And I feel like that's a thing we do. I've done it. I'm guilty of doing it myself. But it's 50-50.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that person really may not fuck with your shit. Like, they really may not.
They're just there to see the guy that's coming on after you,
or
and they really
or whoever.
Right.
Like if you're opening, like I remember we did a show opening for Ghost years ago. Like back when Sonar was like the move.
I miss Sonar so much.
But I remember specifically, this has actually happened to me 3 times. Once with Ghost, once with Bone Thugs and Harmony, and once with Redman. Getting booed at Ghostface. Like, I mean, literally, like, get the fuck off the stage, like, da-da-da-da-da. You know, when I'm 17, so I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. It happened again at Bone Thugs, and somebody who was like, blah, 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 something. Like, I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, my response is, hey, they're not going to come up here any faster. You paid to be here.
Was I at a show and you said something like that? This was like at a show a couple shows ago or something. I think you said something like that. It wasn't, you were kind of saying it kind of like, to be honest, you got to get through me first. Right. So
like, there's a reason set times are posted on the door. Like, me getting off stage in 10 minutes isn't going to get them on the stage an hour and a half earlier.
Right.
Like, and then when I did Redman, literally I was just like, okay, cool, I have a microphone, nobody can hear you play my song. Like, literally just looked at my DJ and was like, play the next, like, you still paid to be here.
Right.
Like, enjoy the moment. And that's my whole thing with, like, even if you don't like my shit, you might like the dude before me, or you like the dude after me, or maybe Redman is right after me and you don't know, whatever. It's why I don't, like, you're not a photographer, but you're a photographer.
Right.
It's why I don't usually have my phone out at concerts. Like, I'll take 2-3 pictures and video or something like that. I'm in the moment. Like, I came here for this. Why am I watching? Like, I said this to somebody last night. I paid $35 to watch my concert here when it's going on here. Like, what? Like, I could have got on YouTube for this shit. Like, I don't understand the premise, and like maybe it's for other people, you know, who couldn't.
Like at the Tech 9 show, I tried to do some of the live for some of my friends who couldn't be there because they were at work or whatever, family obligations, whatever. Of course, the sound was terrible because my phone that I had at the time sucked, and my phone that takes awesome pictures and awesome video didn't have no service on it. It was just, you know, it was my phone that I used to use here for my show, but because it had just a wonderful camera, and so I was trying to take some pictures, because I couldn't bring my camera in, and then afterwards I found out if I had talked to Stars would have got me in. So I said, I'm gonna remind you of that the next time. You know, so and that biggest thing for me was I was standing there and Chris walked right past me, like brushed right past me. I was like, oh, and then I'm standing up there getting ready to talk to Stars, and I look over, you be's right there.
Yeah.
And you be short as shit.
All of them short as shit.
I was like, no, but I really
Yubi is really short.
I would have really, like, I probably would have went right straight to, like, dumbfounded groupie mode if I met Tech.
Right.
Him and Ghostface are, like, the only two artists that I really, like, I cussed out Keith Murray. So, I told Keith Murray next time he pulled me up on stage, I was kicking his ass.
Yeah.
You know, I've met these guys, I've met these industry people. Hi, how you doing? You know, and it's cool. But Tech and Ghost, I guess I just have them up on a pedestal.
I've met both of them. Very cool people.
Yeah.
Like very down to earth people. I actually had a very long conversation with Godless from South Korea outside, and we were actually talking about just living in the moment of like what you're doing. Like I've seen Seth's group a handful of times, and every time they get off stage, and this is no slight to anybody, I rarely see Hughie, but I always see Gadamus in the crowd, like as a fan.
Right.
Like he's been on this tour for 18 days, and he's still watching the show. Like I ran into him outside smoking a cigarette, and we talked for like an hour and a half.
Right, because they're so. That's like when I first met when Funk Volume was when they first became like really relevant and you know, out there. Like people actually knew. I mean, I knew who people were before they, you know, everybody else like jumped on it. And they're walking around, and I'm talking to Dizzy Wright, and some girl comes over and goes, "Oh my God!" And he's like, "Ah!" right back at her, you know. And you know, I got a picture with me and Swizz, which I love Swizz, even though he's got that voice, but I love Swizz. Yeah, I just love it. I love the way he articulates things and everything. I couldn't meet Hobson because everybody was around Hobson. And the DJ, Hopper. Yeah. Like, they were all just walking around and just, like, chilling. Like, they was, like, every day, you know. And at that point, they probably could. Right. You know, as it seems like as your fame gets bigger and bigger, then that's when security has to become a factor. And, I mean, if you watch, like, go back to the Tech thing, just being a huge fan of that, it's just, like, he doesn't move anywhere without security. He doesn't get off that bus. He has to. Like I've seen him after shows, and it's literally state bus. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's impossible. And don't get me wrong. Like some people are like, yo, you think you want it until you experience it. And I think that depends on the kind of person you are. Just as an artist, for me, yeah, I want that shit. I've worked too fucking hard. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know what comes with it. I've watched my favorite artists get swarmed by people, and I'm sure it's stressful, and I'm sure it's taxing. But you know what else is stressful and taxing? Getting up and going to fucking work every day. Right. You know what I mean? Like, getting hounded by a motherfucker you don't like. And, like, and working so hard to make somebody else money. Like, I'm trying to do this. Like, Frank asked me, he was like, why do you do this? I was like, I had to think about it. I was like, I don't really know. And I kind of just sat back and thought about my personality. And I was like, yo, the two things that I love doing are, one, making people laugh, and two, making people enjoy themselves. That's, I mean, reason number two why I do it. Like, I love being an artist, and that it's just something in me. Excuse me. My father was from what I hear, was not a musical artist, but he like painted and was into poetry and stuff like that. Where my mom was very cerebral, so like I have both sides. Where like I know when I have to be the artist, but I also know when I have to, for lack of a better term, put the mask on and talk to people I don't necessarily want to talk to sometimes. It just, and this is on a small scale. Right. This is on a like, hey, I really like your shit. Like, where can I get your mixtape at? Da 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 da. Right. Like, and there are days where I'm at, like, just like any other artist, where you're having a shitty fucking day, or you know, I've left funerals to do shows. You know what I mean? I've from the funeral to my house, change straight to the club, and maybe I'm not in the best mood, but you'll never know it. You'll never fucking know it, because the show must go on. Right. And this is what we do, and I fucking hate it. I've met artists that are assholes. Mm-hmm. So they say. Maybe that person's having a bad day. I don't, like, everyone's like, I don't want to meet my idols. I do. I got brain. I want to pick your brain. Be a dick. I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to fanboy.
I'm here to understand how I get to the plateau or the aspect that you're at. If you want to talk about it, that's fine. You're a grown man, grown woman. You're allowed to have your own opinion. You're allowed to, hey man, I just don't want to talk about it. Okay, cool. Because you and I could have the same conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, just because this person is famous, and like maybe Lisa's just having a bad day. Maybe Kyle's just having a bad day. Like, hey, I don't feel talking to that. Right. It's fine. Like, you know, but at the same time, like, don't be a dick because you think you're going somewhere. Like, how do you treat people like shit? And you got, like, don't get me wrong, my Twitter followers are trash right now. Like, you know, my Facebook fans could be way up, but, you know, like, we're all in the same boat right now. Mm-hmm. You know, we're all trying to get to the same thing. The problem is everybody's so fucking concerned with getting there first that nobody's helping the next person. Right. Yeah, everybody talks about, yeah, we need to come together and reach it and da-da-da-da-da and all this other shit. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it too. Like, don't get it fucked up. Like, but we're you know, at least my generation of Baltimore rappers, motherfuckers in their 30s now. Like, it's in high school anymore. It's like, it's make or break now. You know what I mean? Right. Like, my man, Billy, my man's out on tour right now doing his thing. He invited me to do some dates. We still haven't spoken about it, but, you know, hopefully we can come together and do that. You know, yeah, they're in Martinsburg, West Virginia tonight. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be, like, I'm supposed to be going, I'm supposed to be at all of these dates, mm-hmm. but they always fall on Saturday and I have my show. Right. But, like I said, like, and Billy's one of those people that, I told him this time and time again. Mm-hmm. When he had a show, like, it's so hard. It was so hard for local artists, underground artists here in the city, or even anywhere, to be able to perform at Soundstage at one point in time. Rams Head, hard to get on them shows. Mm-hmm. It was, you know, it was really hard. You know, and I've said this before, and no ill will towards anybody at Soundstage. Mm-hmm. I have some bad personal feelings towards it because I was doing promotions for them. Mm-hmm. I'm passing out flyers, putting up posters. I'm doing all this stuff, but I still can't get my camera in. Right. And nobody's telling me who I need to talk to. Right. But you want me to work for free. Mm-hmm. And, okay, well, that was supposed to be my reward. Right. But I had heard from employees, we don't like local artists. They don't make us any money. Nobody buys anything at the bar. We don't make any money. That's a lie, because I be spending money at the goddamn bar. Right. Like, I spend money at the bar. Right. And I've been to shows that have been underground artists. I hate really to say local, because that just makes you sound like you're nobodies. Right. But these underground artists, and I'm looking around and damn, it might not be Ghostface packed. Right. It might not be Tech 9 packed, but damn, that's a pretty good lot of people in here. The fact that you're not performing by your goddamn self, the fact that you have a crowd, it should be good fucking enough. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's 5 people, 50 people, or 500 people. Like, you could be in there practicing on a stage that you rented. You know what I mean? Not even a sound check. You're just in there because the door was open and they said, yeah, you go ahead. This could be you. This could be you, but I've seen, like, I've gotten to see you, like, I've only seen you on what I call big stages. You know what I mean? So that says, like, to me, that says something, because I know how hard it is it was to get on a Soundstage show. How hard it is. Rams Head, you know, think about the artists of all kinds of genres that have performed on these stages. And you're up there giving it your all. And like I said, the pictures from the flyer, I forget what show that was. That was Onyx. Yeah. Because I was like, okay, what show was it that I seen him at? Oh my God, let me try to go find these pictures. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. I know he was at that show. So I went in there and I was like, oh, okay, I got some pretty good pictures from that show. Hey. And I was pulling for the flyer. But like I said, I've seen you perform only on those big stages. So to me, you know what that says? That says a lot, because your talent and maybe your following, because, you know, the whole ticket sales thing. I take it you got people that, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a ticket, and then I have mixed feelings about ticket sales. Well, and I understand that,
coming from my aspect as somebody who's through shows, I would much rather, but I guess maybe it's because of the way I do it. And because, of course, it was a small stage. It was 5 seasons. But my ticket sales were, I gave you 15 tickets. That's $150 because they're 10. You keep $75.
That's when I threw shows. That's how I did it too.
Yeah, you just keep, just give me half and you take the other half, and or just sell them for $5 and just get, as long as I get my $75, I'm cool, because that's going to help me cover my expenses. I'm not getting rich off of this by any means, but I've seen promoters, I guess you want to call them that, and I've seen venues where, like, I've talked to people, like, they were like, I only get like a couple dollars off this $16.50 ticket. I'm like, what?
But there's a flip side to that. There's a huge flip side to that. Going back to what you said about, when I was throwing shows myself, 50 tickets, $10 a ticket, whatever, $500. There are nights where I easily could have walked out of Sonar with $3,000-$4,000. Or after paying out DJs, security, whoever. Right. Easily, but I had a partner, so that moves me down to $2,000. Right. $2,000. Well, I got to pay my artists because I told them I'd give them half. So my $2,000 just turned into $750. You know what I mean? Like, so, but there's just certain ways to do shit. And the funny thing is, I'm not going to go into that, but like, I would get static for it. Like, you're making all this money. Like, bro.
No, I'm not.
I made like $200 more than you today. Like, right. You know what I mean? And I put this show together. Like, I had to pay a DJ, I had to pay this person, I had to pay this person, you know what I mean? I gotta pay club rent, I gotta make sure security's covered. When you're making $3, $5 off a ticket, whatever, I understand why, because when you're in those bigger venues, rent is higher.
True.
At the same time, and I'm guilty again, I say these things and none of the shit I'm not guilty of. Where's your merch? I just got merch last year. I remember
he was like, there's a table back there. And
like, but that's the thing, is like, where's your merch? Because your $120 you just made could easily go into your whole pot and bring your whatever you made off merch. Right. Now you up on another 120. You can do this, you can do that, da. There's, Billy is really good with the merch game. Steve is really good with the merch game. I'm getting there as far as, getting my shit together, da. But again, I came into this as a teenager and I didn't understand the business aspect. Right. I'm still learning the business aspect of it. I'm still getting my shit together. I'm not better than anybody the fuck else. I'm still trying to do this shit, so I don't point my finger at anybody and say you're doing this wrong or da. Your path is your path, my path is mine. But like, it's hard, like going with the ticket sales thing. It's like everyone's like, oh, I fucking hate selling tickets. I hate selling tickets too. Let's be clear about this. Whether you're physically selling, I say it all the time, whether you're physically selling tickets or your name is selling tickets, you're still selling tickets.
Right. Because I had somebody say something about, well, Jay-Z don't sell tickets. Jay-Z's name sells tickets. Yeah. But Jay-Z doesn't have to get out of bed to sell tickets. That's the difference. Right. Like, let's not act like the money wasn't put into place, so Jay-Z didn't have to do that. We don't know what Jay was doing. I mean, we know Jay sold crack, but we didn't know what he was doing. And I'm thinking that, like, people, they don't stop and think about, okay, let's like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a billionaire now. But when Jay-Z was down here, right, and he was getting his start, you don't think that he wasn't selling tickets, or he wasn't he didn't have a hustle? I mean, of course he did.
Well, let's also look at Jay-Z's umpteen years in the game opposed to year 2. Right. So
what was it? Last week I had TAGMG, all them letters. I had the guys on the show, and we talked about that instant gratification that everybody wants. And I said that this is like a microwave generation. Yeah. They just want to push a button. Hot pocket. Right. Like you want. Boom, there it is. Or they want like the magic bean where you pour some water on it and it sprouts,
And that does happen. Few and far between.
Right. let's go back to MySpace days when they found Soulja Boy. You know, then everybody was on MySpace thinking that they were going to be, you know, YouTube. Justin Bieber was found on YouTube. So now everybody was going to be, you know, and you never know when somebody is going to discover you. Like, I always say, you never know who's going to be, who's in the crowd. You never know who's watching you. I have a friend of mine, she was doing a show here on Tuesdays. And she does a show where she talks about different topics and whatnot. And she's done made friends with a lot of different people. And she was like, she was talking to somebody, and he was like, I really like your show. I was watching, you know, somebody told me about your show, da 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 da. And he watched other shows that are on Hard Body, and he was like, he liked my show. He was like the white lady,
the white woman,
right? And I was like, oh well, tell him I said thank you. And he works with the people that do the show Empire. So you know, you never know who's watching you. That's like I said, like that's why like watching you on stage is like you said, like, whether there's 5 people in that crowd or if it's all the way to the back of the building, you give them that same energy. You give them that same show. And even if you get a heckler, like I said, I don't know what show it was, but I remember you saying something and I busted out laughing because it was like you're being a smart ass, but it was true.
Yeah.
Because look, I got the microphone. Let's go.
I got 15 more minutes to do.
Yeah, right.
There's other people
like,
who paid to actually watch my whole set. Like,
you know, and I've witnessed it with somebody else. What show it was? I forget what industry artist it was, but it was Billy Live. I was there with Wisdom Court, and some guy was like, you know, bring on whoever. I can't remember who it was at this time. I think it might have been. Was it Joe Budden? I can't remember. And I turned around and looked at him. And he said something, and I said, well, just watch. And Billy got on stage, and in the middle of Billy's set, I turned around, and this guy is rocking.
Yeah.
And I said, told you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's just a closed-minded view towards a lot of things. Like, and it's not necessarily musical thing, it's pretty much everything. But, like, I try to give everything a shot. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, your shot may be 15 seconds. But your shot also might be 45 minutes. You know what I mean? There's so many artists that I hear about that everyone's like, yo, check this person out. If you give me your mixtape, guess what? It's going in the car. Like, I'm going to listen to it.
Right.
Because maybe I don't like you as an artist per se, but maybe you do your own graphic design, and I need graphic design. Maybe your in-house producer has a style that I like. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean we can't work together because I don't like your shit.
Right.
There's a lot of motherfuckers who don't like my shit. Like how I make like music is literally a combination of 3 different fucking generations of music. Like sample heavy from the 90s. I use a lot of loud snares from like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I use a lot of 808s from like now. So like I try to combine all of these things, and I try to make different sounds and, you know, put different, you know, feels and aspects to my shows and my music in general, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you don't like it. It doesn't mean you might just be a good fucking person. I might just like hanging out with you. I might just like spending time with you and being around you and all shit. Well, just like I like. It doesn't necessarily mean because I don't like your art. Like, you can think about it this way: it's like if you know a painter, it's just not your style, or like food,
right?
You know, if you're a sushi chef and I don't like sushi, doesn't mean we can't fucking chill, like,
right?
Just don't make fucking sushi.
Yeah.
Like, we can go out and, you know, whatever. You know, just because I don't like your shit or you don't like my shit doesn't mean. People tell me all the time, though, it's not really my thing, but they're still my friends,
right?
Like, my friends tell me all the time, well, I'm more of a rock fan, so, like, I think it's fucked up that you're not going to come support me because I'm your homeboy, and just because you don't like the style of music I do. But,
right.
You know, those moments, like, I'm not going to go, well, fuck you. Like, we're not friends because you're not going to come to the show, or you're not going to, you know, listen to my music, or you didn't share my post, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that seems to be, like, the norm right now. that people are like
hustle for me. Hustle for me mentality.
It's
share
like
my shit.
Yeah, it's like
I'm guilty of that too. Don't get me wrong.
Like, I mean, I have so many. Like, I literally deleted almost 200 people off of my Facebook because I don't know why you're there. Like, we don't know each other on any basis except for maybe the music.
Right.
So why are you on my page? You need to be over on my Baltimore Paparazzi page. If you want to send me, want to tag me, tag Baltimore Paparazzi.
Right.
I have untagged myself from so much stuff because I get oversaturated to the point to where I don't want to listen to nothing else. I don't even want to listen to music when I'm home, when I'm in my car, because I'm so oversaturated. That's like when I'm getting ready to go to a show.
Right.
I will listen to 95.9 or 96.3 before I go to a show because I know I'm going to be bombarded with rap music.
Yep.
And probably not good rap music at that, depending on what show I'm going to. So I have to not oversaturate myself. So when I get people like I've seen people going back to the whole supporting one another and we need to come together. This has been something that's been said for years since I've been in the scene. And I tell everybody, you're not going to get everybody to support.
Right.
So if you got to support, you got people who do support you, be happy with that. And because there's too many people out here that they're like you said, they're just out for self.
Right.
The
one thing that this was one of the moments where I kind of realized I was an adult. I realized, or I got a message from someone, I don't remember who it was, and it said, "Stars is on your tour." I got no goddamn tour. What are you talking about? No, Stars. Like, Stars, right? Like, yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, he's on the road with Tech. Okay. Like, so what? Like, like you've always worked to be at that level or be on tour with him or signed to that label or whatever. Like, I've never been quiet about that's my goal.
Right.
Like, it's the sign.
We talked about it at the Tech Nine show.
It's been my goal since I'm fucking 17. Like, it's not gonna change. Like, it is what it is. Y'all might think I'm lame for signing to whoever the fuck, but I don't tell you how to live your life. Don't tell me how to live mine. Anyway, so they were like, "Yeah, Stars is on the road with Tech." Like, cool, good for Stars.
Right.
Like, Stars is like, I'm not gonna say like reachable, but he's reachable.
Right.
Like, I ran into Stars at the Tech Nine show and was like, "Hey man, like, I appreciate your hustle. I'm not familiar with his music, so I'm not gonna lie in your face and say, yo, I'm a huge fan or any kind of shit like that. But like my thing when I was like, yo, I'm an artist too, da 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 da. Like, I just appreciate your hustle. Is there a way I can get in contact with you? We had a conversation, da 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 da. We spoke briefly. It didn't go that way. It is what it is. But like, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, fuck Stars because he's on my tour. He's on the tour I've been working so hard to get on and da 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 and all this other shit. Like, okay, he has an avenue to get where I want to be. Just because we didn't speak after that day, doesn't mean I won't run into him again. It doesn't mean, he was in that business mode. He just, he did a song in the middle of Tech Nine set.
Right.
So it does, I know what it's like. I'm an artist. I know what it's like to be in artist business mode. It doesn't mean I can't.
Because you're like up here, you haven't come down
yet.
Yet.
You got to come down. And if other people want to talk to you, and you've had the same conversation 20 times with 20 different faces, I get it. But it doesn't mean I can't run into Stars downtown or in Fed Hill and be like, oh shit, you're Stars. You remember? This is exactly how I had my conversation with Godless. I just brought up a conversation we had a year and a half earlier. And I brought up a very specific point in the conversation. And he was like, oh shit. He was like, we have spoken before. Now, Godless follows me on fucking Instagram.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean I gave my demo to Godless.
Right.
And I was like, if you listen to it, cool. If you don't, cool. I shot my shot. And he was like, oh, I respect that. I never heard shit about it. Like, didn't stop me from making music. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, So I can't be mad at Stars or Scar Akbar, who is all over my Instagram right now. Like, I can't be mad at them. They're doing what the fuck we all want to do.
Right.
What the fuck we're all supposed to be doing. So how do I hate on... I can't hate on Billy. I can't hate on anybody. Laura,
right.
whoever the fuck. Like, Billy to, you know, to Stars, to Scar Akbar, to Los, to whoever. I can't hate on any of them because they're literally just paving.
Right.
Just watch what the fuck they're doing. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all you have to do. Like, this game is literally, everybody's so busy trying to be in the forefront and not seeing what's going on behind them. Mm-hmm. Like, there's people literally carving a niche for, like, everyone's like, yo, so-and-so's up next, or, you know, whatever. And this isn't just Baltimore. This is like,
right.
Because there's a music scene in Columbia where I'm from, too, and it's a lot of the same shit that I see out here. And they're like, well, I'm the best rapper, and who gives a fuck? Like, you're not the best rapper in the fucking world. Unless you're making $1 million a show or $500,000 a show, who gives a fuck? We're all making $175 or $150 a fucking show.
Right.
Who cares? Like, that shit, like, just irks the fuck out of me. So I can't, like, Stars, you know, you take, let's line them up. You take Los, who by comparison is probably the highest out of all of us.
Right.
To, you know, just from the Bad Boy thing and, you know, whatever. And, you know, whoever else is behind him, Damon Blue, whoever else you want to put behind him. And then let's look at, like, myself. Why am I not watching how they're doing it? So here's where I want to be. Here's what you guys are doing to get to the point where that person is. I'm just trying to get to
where you can try and get right here. I'm trying to get to that next step.
We're all trying to get here. Someone's here, but you said it's steps. Yeah. They always said there's levels to this shit. Like, there are.
Right.
But in order to fucking have levels, you need to have a foundation and build grooves and watch how things are done. You know, and that to me is, I watch everything, you know, even with, you know, my manager named Frank Lewis. Man, wows me out all the fucking time for some shit I didn't do. Or not that I didn't do, but or it'll be shit I didn't do or something I could have done better, whatever the fuck. And, like, yeah, we argue because we're both Virgos and we're fucking both crazy. But he also, within those moments, there's always some bit of information he's giving me in there. Well, here's how the fuck, you know, Frank goes. Like, but he'll always be like, well, you didn't do this and I could be super sensitive and be like, I mean, we had this conversation where I was like, yo, like, I understand your point, but don't yell at me. You know what I mean? Like, and just on some man shit, like, just don't. That's just it. I like to communicate, and I like when people yell, I tend to start yelling. Right. And nothing gets accomplished. Right. So he'll be like, well, should you have done this? Or he'll break it down and be like, here's where you fucked up, and here was my reaction. So you're mad at my reaction to your action. Like, this is the literal conversation we had a week ago.
I believe it.
And I was like, you're right. You're 100% correct. Because you know more about the business side than I do. Now, if we're on a whole artist thing on, like, you know, how to put a multi-syllabic verse together, yeah, I might have the one up there. You know what I mean?
Well, you do know he was a rapper at one point in time.
I'll take it from that. And that's why I said multi-syllabic specifically, because I rap very multi. But I think it's all relative as far as keeping yourself. Like, everyone's like, be humble. Like, no, don't be humble. Like, be humble, but don't. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
To me, it's like it's a fine line between being like narcissistic and being just like, oh yeah, but like, you know, it's there's a middle ground in there, and I've seen, like, Billy is kind of like that middle ground. He's humble, you know, but sometimes he'll like throw that jab in there a little bit, you know, because you have to remind people, but I am that good.
Keep in mind.
Keep in mind, I am that good.
Right. And that's, you know, that's the thing with being an artist, man. It's like, don't be afraid to learn shit. Like,
I actually had Stars on my show. I had him come in. I really wanted it to be a longer I actually had too many people that day because I had a guest that never got back to me until the last minute, but I had already booked somebody. You know, I booked Stars and then booked Antoine Grant, who does he does a radio show, and we always like he had me on his show and I had him on my show, and then he was promoting something to do with the young males in Baltimore. This lady, she's got this program where she had I call it like an intervention where she brought these other males in to talk to these young boys about like staying alive. Yeah. And next year she's actually taking about 80 to 100 and something on buses up to this retreat for the weekend, like up in Northeast Maryland where there's woods where you can't see city. They're gonna freak the hell out.
Look, I'm from Howard County. We got a whole lot of woods out there.
Right, I'm from Queen Anne's County, so that like
I still don't fuck with the woods.
Right. But I had Stars on, and the part about like I asked him, how the hell did you get on the tour? And he broke it down for me. He said that he has somebody who backed him, who actually happened to be Tech Nine's neighbor.
Oh shit. That's dope.
And Tech was like, I got this dude, the guy was like, I got this dude that, put on tour, blah, blah, blah. So he listened to his music and was really not, my style, but if you gonna pay, okay. Yeah. He said within like a few tours in, a few dates in, he was like, oh, I really like how you, and ever since then they've been like really close or whatever. So it was that whole thing of knowing somebody and having that backing to be able to do that move.
Well, and let's just I'm a big person. I'm big into what I call the Conor McGregor theory, and that I don't necessarily say it out loud, right? But if you believe some shit, for instance, we've mentioned Tech Nine a lot throughout this interview, both big fans. Right. Eventually, we got to the road of where we got that led to Stars. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It may not. But who's to say now, from this point, I can't, Stars, da-da-da, hey, da-da-da. So right. You see what I'm saying? But if I never came to do this, I got other shit to do. Right. I don't really know Lisa.
Things happen for a reason in life.
And I've been on the same, but Stars been on the tour. I've just been trying to open.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, look, when you come close enough, I just want to open for you.
Right.
You coming to Fillmore? Can I open?
Right. That's I've just been trying to do that. You know what I mean? But who's to say now that didn't happen for a reason? But we're having this conversation. Right. Who's to say it will happen? Who's to say? You know what I mean? But again, just that whole think it into existence, speak it into existence kind of thing. You know what I mean? I've chased the same fucking dream for 14 years. Right. I'm not gonna stop. Right.
And I mean, and for one, talking with members of Strange Music, holding conversations, and you never that's why I say you never know what's going to happen, who's watching, who just like I said, I have this thing. People say I have too much pride because I will not ask for anything. I could have, I've known Stars since he had crinkly dreads rocking out out of the black hole. Right. I've known Stars. I've known Stars before he became a father. His week, he's like, damn, Lisa, you've known me before I had kids. Yeah. I was like, I remember when you were as a kid. Yeah. So, so I didn't stop and think, be like, oh, well, Tech Nine's coming in, maybe I should hit Stars up and ask Stars, can you get get me in with my camera? Right. That didn't cross my mind because that's not kind of a person I am. Right. But then when I talked to him, he was like, why didn't you hit me up, Lisa? Yeah. I was like, I didn't think about it.
But I'm not trying to use your notoriety to get my thing off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I say this all the time, I got no problem doing the work. I have zero problem doing the work.
Right.
I've been doing it long enough that it's it'll if you put the work in, or if you're dedicated enough to it, eventually something happens. I can sit here and openly say that and there's a bunch of other people who've done it too. I've played every major stage in the city. Right. You know what I mean? A few times. You know what I mean? And there's other cats who can say that too. The Billies, you know, the Damon Blues, I won't say every because I haven't played Pier 6. But, you know, if I got a chance, I don't think I won't do it.
I'm telling you, that right there, I don't know what it looks like being on the stage looking out at Pier 6. Yeah. But standing there in the pit right there between the stage and the gate and looking behind you and seeing this sea of freaking people, not only in the seats, but up on the hill and up on the side, I'm claustrophobic.
Right.
People are like, well, how can you be at these shows? I said, because I'm at the front of the stage.
Right.
I have all this open space in front of me.
Yeah.
If I turn around and look to see these people breathing down back of my throat, I liable to go into a fit. But seeing that like from that stage, that's an awesome looking stage, because you don't know how many people really are truly out there.
Right. And that's one of the rushes that you get just being an artist and like walking on stage and just like seeing people, like most people, like a lot of people talk about how they have like fear of public speaking.
I don't like getting. Look, I used to hate when I have to host my own shows, and I look out and I see people that I know.
Right.
I don't like getting on the microphone.
Right.
I had to give a speech to be I was in Job Corps and I was running for president, and I had to give a speech. I was nervous. I'm white, so my face went red. I was changing colors right before everybody's eyes. That's why I tell people all the time, like, what you do, I admire that, because I can't do that. I can't write rhymes. I accidentally rhyme. Like, you know, like I write stuff on Facebook and somebody be like, wait a minute, Lisa got bars. I'm like, no, that was an accident, but okay. I can't write to a song. Like, I had an artist send me a song, but it was only the hook, the verse, the hook again, the space for the second verse, and then the hook at the end. So I'm listening to his verse, and I'm listening to this beat, and I'm like, oh my God, this beat is so, I love this beat. And I was like, I'm gonna write to this beat. Couldn't do it. Just could not do it.
Right.
Because it's just not me.
Right.
You know, so you being able to do all that, it's amazing to me. You know, like watching somebody make a beat, watching an engineer, you know, record a song and tweak it and everything. That's all amazing to me. Now, I'm sure that if I sat here and I like pulled up pictures and I started editing and doing these little funny stuff to it, you'd be like, wait a minute, how'd you do that? For one, I don't know how I did it, because I'm that type of person. I just do things. I don't know. You know, like my camera, I still don't know how to work my own camera, and I've had the thing for a couple years now. I point and click.
I think that's the fun.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like I said, you'll never see me on stage singing, rapping, any of that stuff. Can't do it. I can't do it.
In the same respect, like I have friends that are legit photographers. Like I dated a girl who was a legit photographer, and I would watch her edit, and I'd be like, "What the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
Like, how did you do that?"
And like when I watch, you know, one of my homeboys edit his shit, and I'm just like, I don't know. There's X's and Y's and color schemes and all this other shit. But if you watch me sit there and tweak a goddamn 808 file, like an 808 kick drum file, so it doesn't cut through too much, like, and you start using terminology people don't know, and unless they're, you know, they do what you do. I think that everyone has, like I said, everyone has their niche, everyone has their thing, everyone has like what they're good at, and run with that. You know, and I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends are like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Well, have you sat down and really thought about it, or are you just like moving around hoping something hits you in the face? Because I sat down and thought about the fact that I wanted to be an artist. You know, I sat down and thought about the fact that, you know, what I do for work is what I want to do. I don't, like, it gives me enough freedom to still be myself. I'm going to wear nobody's tie or dress shirt or anything like that. I enjoy what I do. You know what I mean? Like, these things don't just hit you in the face. I mean, sometimes they do, but for the most part, they really just, it's something you got to put your shit into. You have a motive. All right, I don't know anybody. I don't, you know, whatever.
Right.
So I'm going to do this in hopes of, and it just, you know, escalated into, you know, what you do now. You know, and for me, it was, well, I want this, so what do I need to do? Like, for instance, still aren't many producers that make beats that I like. So I
Right.
learned to make fucking beats. Like, I've been making beats since I was 16. I still can't find there's one producer from Croatia that like touches on is the style of shit that I like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know a multitude of fucking producers.
What I've come across with producers is like something that you said before we got on air was how your first project,
mm-hmm.
how your projects all sound different.
Mm-hmm.
I have come across producers that when you hear something, you be like, "Oh, that's so and so," because they all like most of the beats all sound like.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at my brother's house and he was going through this CD. He had CDs upon CDs of beats that he had downloaded, and he put them on disc and he would just run through them. And we were listening to a beat one night, and him and at the time my boyfriend, because they were getting ready to write, and like they were listening to this beat, and I was like, I'm listening, and I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
I said, who is this? And he was like, this is Image. And I was like, that's Image? Because it sounded nothing like any other beat that I ever heard from Image.
Right.
So, you know, I like producers. Like, I listen to music, like I said, like you said. The genres is endless because I listen to everything.
Right.
So, I listen to beats too. You know, like that one Yo Gotti song, that "Fuck You" song, "Fuck You."
Yeah.
But I got the instrumental because I don't like the song.
right.
I got the instrumental. So when I hear beats, like I said, I like to hear something. Mistress Beats, she's another producer that I like to listen to. Naughty is another one. They don't make the same kind of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So trying to find what you're looking for is like not quite my style.
Right.
Not quite what I'm looking for because, like you said, your style is kind of
a little bit like it evolves, like it goes. Sometimes it evolves, it goes backwards. And like there's certain shit that I like to just be boom bappers. There's certain shit I like that are just 808 driven and heavy and knock the windows out your car type shit, you know. But it also ranges from my taste in music. Like I listen to like motherfuckers who listen to everything. I mean, like you can go through my when I had an iPod, before that shit got stolen. It was everything from Marilyn Manson to Al Green to Five Finger Death Punch to Tech Nine to Jay-Z to the Beatles to the Doors to, you know what I mean? And so I grew up I didn't grow up listening to hip hop. Like that's the one thing that everyone's like, you don't like old school hip hop? I didn't grow up listening to it. Like the shit that got played in my house was Seal, you know, a lot of fucking jazz, Alanis Morissette. Like this is the shit my father or my stepfather and my mother were into. You know what I mean? It wasn't till I didn't get into like my style of music until I started hanging out with one of my neighbors and he played me Nirvana and Utero. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then from there, it was like I started listening to everything. And the MTV wasn't allowed in my house. VH1 wasn't allowed in my house. How the fuck I became a musician, I don't know.
Hey.
But like, when I was old enough and, you know, my parents split, my mom was a little less controlling than my stepfather was, you know, that's when I found, like, I remember hearing Pony for the first time by Genuine. And I didn't understand, like I'm a kid, so I don't actually understand what the song is about, but that, like that caught my attention. I was like, what the fuck have I, like, as a kid, I'm not thinking
it's almost like you were a kid that wasn't allowed to eat sugar and you had your first piece of candy.
And I went crazy after that.
Right.
And I was just like, you know, because like, granted there was music in my house, but I didn't know shit about like the shit I listen to now. Like I didn't know shit about Al Green or, you know, fucking Casey and the Sunshine Band, or you know what I mean. I didn't know these weren't things in my house. It was literally like Kenny G and Seal. You know what I mean? Like, and I was more into like action figures and video games. I'm still into video games, but and I would play with action figures if I wasn't 31 fucking years old. But that's here nor there.
I know some men that are older and they have them. They just say they collect them.
Yeah, look, me and John Williams are some Funko Pop. Doll loving
J5 to this day, even though he doesn't even do photography anymore, he is like one of my favorite photographers.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people too.
He's a great dude. Like,
you
I
know,
haven't seen him. I haven't seen him since Onyx, but I ain't seen him like.
He just announced. He just Facebook announced that he's engaged now.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, he's just he Facebook announced it. They've been engaged. They just Facebook announced.
Well, congratulations again. But that, like, you know, these were the things in my house that I'm like I grew up listening to or hearing, and you know, the first song I remember sticking with me, like, and still to this day, 2 songs actually that I love, and it's just like immediate nostalgia. Or Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. And Last Dance with Mary Jane by Tom Petty and Heartbreakers.
That is, oh look, I got chills just thinking about that. That song and the video.
Yeah, that's a crazy fucking video.
See, and that's like, okay, like when me growing up, I'm much older than you.
Right.
Like I was listening to we were listening to like 50s and 60s rock and roll. I was born in 70, so I was 70s music, KC and the Sunshine Band. I remember every time that I hear KC and the Sunshine Band, I think of the Delaware State Fair.
Okay.
And when I was younger, and my family, my aunts and uncles and my grandfather used to take me to the fair every day. Like you said, I made a post like yesterday how a song can take you back in time without a time machine.
Right.
You know, so I've always said music is life, music is therapy. So like that's like I said, like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, like I know people that know me and they know me from the rap scene and be like, what? And I was like, I grew up on all that music. I grew up listening to everything. We listened when I was there when hip hop began. You know, Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
First time I heard Sugar Hill Gang, I was like, what is this?
Right.
Like you said, like it's like, wait a minute, hold up. They're saying these words and they're doing the rap, like it's rhyming and oh my God. So you fall in love.
Yeah.
And you know, and the other song,
Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
I just watched the interview with Dr. Phil. And that's every time I hear that song, it takes me back to my best friend. That was her favorite song.
Yeah.
So, you know, that song, those 2 songs, and you rap now.
Yeah. Aggressively.
Right. Yeah, like they.
But let's not get it twisted. I'm a big Slipknot fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I said, my musical taste is so fucking wide that, like, when people are like, oh, listen to this person, or listen to that person, or, you know, like, it's nothing to see me at, you know, let's just say for the sake of argument, like, a summer jam and then Ozfest the next day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then I might, like, I live next to Merriweather, so, like, you know, I might just go to a jazz festival one day, or I might go to, you know, you might fuck around and see me a Sunday in the country tomorrow. Like, you just never know. And because, you know, you look at we go back to my first record, I sampled, and it's actually the one song on that record that everyone still talks to me about. I sampled a Rascal Flatts song. And everyone's like, how the fuck did you just rap over a country song? Like, your music is music. Like, if you understand timing and structure and how, you know, and you understand a 4-count rhythm, like, you can rap over anything as long as it's within this segment of time. It's just, you gotta get out of that. Well, rap is rap and country is country, and
they have rap. They have country that's like rap now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a bit of a gentrification. But
I think that's a bit of like trying to capitalize on it, you know,
on struggle and shit.
Yeah,
because you know, like we talked about the local, you know, da 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 da. I ain't never met a local country singer. I ain't never done a show with a motherfucker who I know a lot of local bands. I ain't never seen a local country band.
I don't recall. I know that not from Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean in general, I've been to a lot of places. I've never seen like. I mean, I guess like we're not in that jurisdiction.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think. I'm sure if we went to a country
I guess
show.
All right, so I guess that's kind of close-minded to myself.
But I mean, I was just thinking because I think there was a guy that I don't know, Man Ray Records, Mike Diamond. He was trying to get me to meet up with this guy or something. Like, I don't know why people think that I know so much.
You're everywhere. You're always talking to somebody.
I met Mike Diamond a few years ago with another artist that I was hanging out with or whatever. And ever since me first meeting him, like we've been Facebook friends. He's the one who runs Reverb down on Charles Street. It's a nice little spot. It's so chill in there, everything. And he used to hit me up all the time about trying to help out somebody with something. I was like, I need to go into business. I swear to God, I do. Because I don't know why people keep asking me if I know things. I mean, I do, because I educate myself and I pay attention, and
that's why people ask you shit.
I create these bridges and paths with people. Like you said, I've known Stars for years. Me and Stars are not best friends.
Right.
I know his daughter's mother. I'm friends with her. I know his daughter. I've taken pictures of his daughter, you know, at a photo shoot, and you know, but we're not best of friends, but we know each other. You know, so I keep all these avenues and these paths relevant, because I never know when, like I said, I know you. Maybe like something, you know, I see something that Stars says or whatever, I'll be like, hey, Stars, hit up Kyle, you know, or Kyle, you know, I just told Stars to, you know, follow up through that, you know. That's what I do. You know, that's how I am, because, you know, so like I think it was a country song, but I know what you're saying. You know what I mean? And that whole like the rapping over, like you can sample anything. I've watched it be done. Scar Akbar is phenomenal with doing that.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Again, something I didn't know about him until I started following him on Instagram, that he makes beats. I didn't know shit.
I always knew that he made this. He is a Renaissance man. Don't get twisted. Adidas, he's an Adidas, like he has everything Adidas, like probably anything that you ever want in Adidas, he's got it already. He makes these, he's a producer who makes these awesome beats and can make beats out of just about anything, because I've seen him do it. Phenomenal artist.
Very distinct voice.
As far, he writes treatment plans for videos, and they come out like movies. Not just for him, but for other people. He graphic designer, like when I see him at Summer Jam, when he almost got me thrown out, he come up to me and he was like, he hugged me and he said, he looked at me and the first thing he said was, I want to redesign your logo. I said, oh, okay. Like, what am I going to, Scar Akbar.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt.
Okay.
It's either going to be better or worse, but you still have a main design, so it can't hurt.
Well, this the one that I use now is my second. My first one I did myself, which was the black and turquoise one. And then Daryl Mack from Mobile Printing designed the other one. He was like, I want to do your logo. I was like, well, go ahead. You know. Whatever you feel like doing, go ahead and do it.
Try it out.
Not worried. So, you sent me 3 songs. Because we've been talking and it's like 7:21 already. And I don't think we got to be out of here by 8 o'clock unless you have to be out of here by 8 o'clock. Because I'll talk. Like,
I do. No, that's a lie. I do have some room.
You see?
I have to leave at 8 o'clock.
So you sent me 3 songs. What song would you like to preview?
Let's go with the most recent one, Villains.
Okay. See, I'm gonna give you a secret. I tell people to send me their music, right? I don't listen to it until I'm right here.
Okay.
Because I want to give you that reaction to the music. Because I could have heard it already, and you don't like it, and I'd be like, ah. But of course, then I can't do that either, because this I've been in front of the stage, because you know how I'm right there, and somebody be on stage and I'll be like this.
I'm not impressed.
What?
I completely understand that shit.
Like, I've actually had this face. I wish y'all could see it, not really, but this face of, what the fuck did you just say? I
get that a lot, but it's usually because it's something outlandish.
Well, most of the time they say something that makes no sense at all. They just rhyme in words, and I can't get with that.
Yeah, I try to stay
So this is Villains. All right. Let's see if I can. There we go.
Intro long as shit.
Did you make this beat?
Yeah. I'll tell you what it said before I give you like, well, it's actually sampled from, I can't think of his name now. It's a song that you would expect this to come out of. I'll put it that way.
Try to turn it up, but not too loud.
what I say. Smoking mirrors, clear glassy, I do it my way. Creeping on the come up from that stone cold start, making change to make a change. So we keep it on the hard up, so we stuck and ducking motherfuckers. So we on the up and up and pop another eye. See, watch the demons start to creep from underground and from the coast. My views are full of heathens, so the ones no longer want us, and the ones that's out here breathing. Famous flip down, the monster on the shit. Keep all in your bitch, go over, we don't switch up. Mobbing about the crypto, keep all in your window. Maybe get your shit bust, try to get your grill touched. See around here, we always sex with it, twin. They say what doesn't kill us, we gon' do that shit again. I've been dealing with my sins, I'm just looking for a reason. When you fucking with the villains, when the neighbors turn the team.
I like that. Like, it's just, I was listening to it, I was like, oh, it sounds like part of it reminds me of Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Like that reminds me of like from Kill Bill or whatever. Like it was just like, to me, my mind was going to so many different places as far as like the beat itself. Like I was like, oh.
I mean, that's kind of the premise of the song is everybody talks like, for the most part, I look very unapproachable, but I'm actually quite approachable. Like I'll talk to anybody. A lot of people are like, you don't put enough of your personality into songs. I'm like, yo, if I gave you guys all of my personality, I wouldn't know how to handle it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the first few lines of the song, if I gotta play the villain, fine. Straight from the shoulder until we vilify. The thriller side. Calm on the surface, just keep the killing side. Like, if I told you that, and
you'd be like,
what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the whole put some respect up on my name, and that's our trio, y'all. If they lead or fall, we proud to move in pieces. Reactions strictly based on how you niggas air your grievance. Like, that says it all right there. Like,
right.
Our reaction's based on how you approach your issue with me. Like,
right.
So the Kill Bill sound is actually just an air horn, like a jail air horn that you just sped up. But everyone's like, yo, it reminds me of Kill Bill, and I'm like, that actually fits perfectly because of because anytime you heard that in the movie, you knew some shit was about to happen, and that's kind of like where I went with it as far as putting it in the hook.
Right. Like I said, like it just like that part right there, like I said, when you hear a song, it takes you to a moment, or it takes you to something. It reminds you of something. So, like I said, when I heard it automatically, I was like, hey, man, that reminds me of Kill Bill, which is one of my favorite two of my favorite movies.
Great fucking
yes, 1 and 2. It's definitely a Tarantino like.
Quentin Tarantino.
I'm gonna tell you, like it's forwards, then backwards, then back around again. And,
you don't really know where you are in the movie.
Yeah, you're like, where the hold up? I thought she was dead.
Pulp Fiction is.
Yeah, that was another one. But like that, like I was like, oh, I like this poem. I already knew it was going. Like, I already knew with certain artists that their music, I'm going to like it because I've already seen you on stage. I've already heard your music. I've already, so I already know. You're a Tech 9 fan. Come on. I've never met a Tech 9 fan who was an artist that I didn't like.
Well, thank you.
It goes.
Glad to be included in that.
Right.
For people.
Right. So, when you're like you were talking about like how your first project, like each project is different. When you're writing, okay. I've asked this question a couple times to a couple of different artists. Do you write to the beat?
Yes.
So you like this, because I know artists that write and then try to fit it to the beat.
Right.
I think that's got to be the hardest thing to try to do.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on your style, really. Like with my style, because it's almost like doing math or like doing a puzzle. Is I try to fit syllables in the most comfortable place.
Reminds me of Sudoku.
Right, like I try to fit words and syllables where they fit, like where they're more comfortable, most comfortable. It's like putting a puzzle together. But if you have more of a spaced out kind of style, yeah, you can write to
just about
whatever the fuck, and then fit, because you have more room. I don't give myself that kind of room to.
Especially if you're going to actually throw in that spitting fast,
yeah.
Because I do not know how the hell y'all do that. Like Tech. Even with Eminem, when he I'd be like, okay, AZ lyrics. let me play the song.
Be wrong.
Right, because there's people that are listening to it. Because like I've done looked a lot of times and been like, that's not what that says right there. But like, but it gives me kind of a premise on what to listen to, and like, when you were talking about listening to like more or less other genres other than hip hop and like your music, it kind of you can see if you're any kind of a, how can I say it, connoisseur of music,
right.
You can see that influence.
Yeah.
And I seen that like with Tech Nine, like his therapy EP that he did.
All metal.
Right. And that's like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Of course, my favorite song, one of my favorite songs is Inner Sandman by Metallica.
Right.
So, so that's, and then like I said, he kind of did that crossover with T-Pain with Bitch, which it kind of fit because he was breaking into colored houses, as he said. So when I'm listening to this, I was listening to this song and I was thinking about what you said about your friend who, and it's not really my type of music, but he's more of a rock, and I'm like, it's kind of got a rock beat, what kind of rock are you listening to? I don't even listen to rock now because I don't know what's popular or nothing else, but I know what I used to listen to, and I'm like,
and the thing is, I have a rock stage show.
Right.
These are also people who said that to me have never seen me before, and then they see me and they're like,
well, I didn't know that's what you were doing.
I
was like, okay.
But like people who
oh, okay. Okay. I don't know who he is. Okay. I don't know who that was.
but
3D wants us to do it with the curtain open.
But like the whole thing is, a lot of those people who say this to me haven't seen me perform, haven't heard my music, and then they see it and they're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh, you actually like rap, but it's not rap, but like,
right.
You know what I mean? Even now, like I'm trying to incorporate like a lot more melody into my shit. But also, like, for instance, like you have another song on Anything that like is more boom bap-ish, but it's still melodic. It's like very drum heavy, but still has a melody to it. But it's
and I think doing music like that is almost like I'm kind of going to compare it to when I tell people when they do like a lot of these artists, when I tell them when they do projects. You can't do a project and just have all turn up music, because I mean you need to do a project that's got different kinds of styles or whatever. Like I said, just think about this: you give the CD to your homeboy, he gets in the car, he plays the first song, which is a turn up song, and his girl's like, "What the fuck is this? Like, why do we gotta listen to this bullshit?" And she's bitching and complaining through the whole song because she doesn't like it. But the next song comes on is like, more towards females or more like something that she likes, and she's like, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah.
So now you got two fans who have two different styles.
Right.
And it's not to say that you have to sell your soul to the devil to do that. It's just that that's something to think about when you're thinking about your fan base.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, the music that you do, reminds me of Tech, because Tech has said it over the years. Like when he started doing the music that he was doing, he didn't have no black people in the crowd. It was all white kids rocking out. Right. He might have had one or two out there, you know what I mean? But it wasn't until he did that crossover, and I've had so many people say, oh, he's a sellout. He's a sellout. He's a sellout. Yeah, he's selling out venues.
Everything.
So, oh, well, Strange Music is a sellout. And I'm like, because they have expanded their, who they've signed.
Yeah.
So they're selling at, I'm not sure how
sell it when you're making money.
right. And that's why I say, like, the music, I listened to it, I was like, and dude said that he likes rock music.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yeah. In the same token, like, you know, you look at my music or you look at my stage show and everything, like, you're a really intense performer. I'd say 80% of my ticket sales are women.
And I've Baltimore Big Steve. Talking about merchandise. Most of the people that buy his merchandise are females.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody else, another artist, and most of their ticket sales, females. So I'm just saying.
Like, everyone's like, your music is so aggressive, and you have all these women at your shows. Women don't get angry.
Hell yeah.
Women don't want to punch you in the face. Like, people, like, I don't understand the correlation.
I punch people in throats.
I mean, yeah, do what you do. We'll just edit that out so nobody gets indicted or anything. But, like, do what you do. Like, that's, I just make music that I like.
I think for me personally, as a fan, I like things that are different.
Yeah.
You don't sound like anybody else, so that makes you unique.
Yeah.
And that's like the music that I tend to like is I like music that is not the same. That's why I don't listen to the radio.
Right.
You know, I listen to the radio. If I do listen to 92Q, it's going to be at 12 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Midday mix and shit.
Yeah, you know, because they're going to play the same 10 songs over and over again, because that's what they're paid to do as far as what they're supposed to be doing as far as the royalties and all that stuff, whatever, however they do all that. And that's not my music. I can't listen to what's on the radio now. Some of these guys that are performing and stuff now, if they're even performing, because there was a time when everybody, to get noticed, you did shows.
Yeah.
Now I don't really like.
You do everything but.
They get on YouTube, they get on Instagram, they get on
mixtapes,
Facebook Live, and they do all that to get noticed. And yeah, it's working for them for the moment.
Right.
You know, how long is your longevity going to be?
Here's my question. This is a thing that I've always had. Well, I won't say always. It's been as of recent. So you have all these artists that, you know, got on through mixtapes or whatever the fuck, and, you know, they do what they do. How many of them perform the same? There's this thing going on right now with artists who just like jump, like their songs aren't like that energetic. It's just like a lot of bass.
But they jumping around.
They're jumping up and down and like not saying whole verses, or like, I get it. Like, it's hard to, you know, like, that's why most rappers have hype men, because you got run around and da da da.
And that's why they rap over their lyrics.
Don't get me wrong, I have my ad-libs in my songs, but like, it's not the whole verse.
See, and that's something else that I talked to the guys last week about too, and I've talked to other people about too. I have a real problem with that, because if you're just going to rap over your lyrics or halfway rap over your lyrics while you're partying with your homeboys and everything else, then you could have just handed me your CD and stop wasting my time.
Right. Give me my $15.
You know, so that whole jumping around. I'm sorry, Chris Brown even gets winded when he's dancing, and he's conditioned to do that.
Like, I mean, I'm a big dude, but I also understand there's a lot of things that go into that, like being able to control your voice. Everyone talks about breath control. Nobody talks about voice control. Like being able to control your voice and know where your voice sits and where it's comfortable to the point you're not blowing your voice out, but you're also not too low. Like you know, every song has a feel. So if you're doing your you know, your really amped up party turn up song, but you're the whole time. Well, the beat's live, but your show's not live, and or you're doing your, you know, your girl track, but you there's a vibe that like comes with these moments of music, or the, you know, the way I hear a lot of these girl songs for whoever's girl, or you know, da 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 da, but it's rapped the same way you did your turn up shit, or it's, you know, it's said the same way you did your whatever the fuck. Like there's just a lot of variables that go into what we do as artists that I don't think get considered. Like I really break this shit down in my head a lot of the times. Like even when I practice, when I perform, when I write, when I record, when I, you know, I know what I'm gonna. 9 times out of 10, I know what the song sounds like before I recorded it. Like not just know my verse. Like I know, okay, I need to layer this 3 or 4 times. I need to do this 2 times. I need to go over this a couple more times. I need to do this part higher and then go back and do this part lower under it. So it's really just dependent on, I won't say dependent because that's just my thing.
Right.
But again, it's just like being a student of what I do, being a, you know, an actual artist and crafting songs, not just making music.
See, and and to me, that's the difference between an artist and a rapper. You know, I've said this time, and people are like, oh, well, what's the difference? And I was like, for me, I'm not going to tell you what the difference is for you, but me personally, an artist is they go about it a different way. They go about their music a different way. Rappers, they just rap. That's all they want to do. They just want to rap. They just want to do this. They don't think about anything else. Like they don't think about no business. They don't think about, okay, I got to do, you know, okay. The main thing about like rapping over your lyrics, I had the guys are like, well, these places got shitty sound systems. I understand that, but that's because a lot of them are, you're doing hole in the walls places and not
concert venues.
Yes,
right.
Not like Soundstage.
Right.
Well, the sound man. Well,
but do you know what you're listening for? That's what I'm saying. Like on stage, do you know what you're listening for? That's another part that a lot of people don't understand. Is like, those speakers in front of you are, so if they removed those speakers, you couldn't hear shit.
Right.
Like, so do you know what you're actually listening for while you're on stage? Do you know that you should be, if you feel like you're yelling, you need to bring your vocals up, so sonically, just how the brain works.
Right.
If I can't hear myself, I need to be louder.
Right.
That's just naturally how ears and brains work.
Right.
So if you can't hear yourself, you're going to be screaming, and then you blow your voice out 2 songs in. The science of being an artist, like.
Well, see, and I think with your background of being in, you know, playing instruments and being in a band, in band and all that, because, like, I was in band for 1 year in 5th grade. I played the B-flat cornet, which is like a trumpet. It was my father's. Played it okay.
Right.
Did not want to go back 6th grade year. No. Did not want to do it. I was in choir from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I learned how to read music. I learned how to count.
Right.
I learned all this stuff. And I think that's something that's missing in a lot of these. Like, I've had people, I've seen artists, they can't count 16 bars. They go over or they go under because they don't know how.
That was the first thing I learned to do.
You know, so even, and like I said, like I'm not an artist. I don't make music or anything else. I was at, I think it was the Crown Awards 1 year, and it was a producers battle, and the guy, you know, the producer, the music was playing, and we were all sitting there, and like we're just sitting there, and then like they cut it off because they only played so many seconds of it, and he was like, wait a minute, no, da 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 da, and it was like, what? It was like. He was like, the beat, and he was like, we're like, wait a minute, hold up. So they played it again, and Only is standing on stage. I'm sitting on the stage. I'm sitting over on the step, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, It's supposed to drop right there.
Right.
Oh, listen, even Lisa knows it's supposed to drop right there. Come on. I think that a lot of guys they just want to rap and that's it. So they don't school themselves. Like we've been saying this whole interview. This whole thing is schooling, educating yourself. See, education yourself. Educating yourself. I've said this time and time again. What I would not give to be able to go to Strange Music and intern there with Travis.
Yeah.
I sat and watched a YouTube interview with him for 2 hours.
I watched the same interview.
You know what I mean? Because they've built something that to me is unique. And I'm like, oh, what I wouldn't give to be able to do something like that.
Right.
Because my whole premise for being in this community has been to try and help build this community and build people up and help them rise to where they want to be. I don't get paid to do this radio show. I don't get paid to put this on YouTube so you can share it later on. I don't get paid to go and, well, I do get paid sometimes to take pictures.
Right.
But I don't get, it's not, I'm not getting paid to do anything that I do for this community. It's something that I feel like I want to do and I need to do. And there's a lady in New Orleans named Peaches Records. And she does the same thing on a bigger level, of course. She helped Cash Money and No Limit get their sound scans when they were first starting out. Like she was like, bring your music here so I can sell it here in the store. Tell everybody to come to the store to buy it, and you will get your credit for those scans. And that's what she did. And to this day, she still helps those underground artists that are trying. She has listening parties and everything else. So, like I talked to her when I went down there the first time, and I was like, I love that you do this. I said I try to help myself, you know, to help artists by giving them a platform, by giving them, you know, whatever. And when I went back down there, and I got to meet David Banner, and as soon as we walked in, she was like, I'm glad you came back. We were in there in February. This is June.
Never know the impression you leave.
You know, so like I just try to give knowledge to a lot of these kids, and some of them, you know, if I've gotten through to one person, it's cool. You know, I've accomplished something. But I think a lot of these kids, for me, it's longevity. Look at Jay-Z. How long he's been in the scene. Even Nas is kind of making a name come back. You know, Nas really never really left as far as people knew who Nas was. But his name is popping up more and more. I don't know if it's because of the Nicki Minaj thing or what. But you know, it's for me, it's like the longevity. How long have you been doing shows and everything?
Like in Baltimore,
right?
I mean, my first on-stage performance, I was 6. But like shows. 13 years. See?
And you're still, like, I know people that were in the scene in 2008 when I came into shows that are not even, they don't even do music no more. Because they didn't make it. So they just,
I gotta, like, for me, it's like, I need to be creative. Like, it's just a need that I have. Like, whether, I go home and just make shit sometimes and fuck with sounds. Nothing comes out of it. Like, just fucking with new sounds and, you know, different things and just, okay, what can I, and that's still me being creative.
Right.
Like, I'm taking one sound and making it something else, or taking 5 sounds and making it something else. Like, to me, that fills my void for, like, creativity. But then, like, I make, let's say, like, for instance, the beat for Villains, it was just me fucking around, and then it grew into this thing. You know what I mean? And it took me 6 weeks to eventually write to it. Like, it was just like, I had it, and I was just like, I don't know where I want to go with this.
Right.
And it wasn't until I had this conversation with somebody that I was like, oh, okay. And, like, I come put the beat on, and it's like, I'm on my phone, like, I forgot to play the, you know what I mean? It's just like, for me, it just comes, like, sometimes I haven't made a beat in 3 months. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't wrote anything in probably 3 or 4 weeks.
I think that being creative, you have to just let it flow. I've told people before, like, I can't, like, I just took some pictures from a photo shoot that I did down in Houston in February. Yeah, we were in Houston in February. It was hot as shit.
Okay.
And I just took some of those pictures the other day and edited them.
Yeah. Just gotta like, it's just
because
boots.
I was like, well, let me see, let me go through and just play around with these and do something and do some, you know, put some different like things on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't force myself to do that because I would get easily just be like, fuck it, I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and then or something to come out looking horrible. And I'm like, no.
It's like, and that's the one thing is people, you know, like, I feel like a lot of artists feel like they always need to be creative. And I would say like, it's dependent. I can't even put a percentage on it. It's like dependent on your mood that day, or you know, like artists. And this is the one thing a lot of people forget, including artists. We're moody fucking people. Like, we are moody motherfuckers. Like, there is something, and a lot of people say this. There's something wrong with you if you want to be a musician.
I believe it.
Like, you know what I mean? But your wrong may not really be wrong. You know what I mean? It's just, you don't have another way to get it out. Like, it's something that you need to get out. And sometimes people don't understand. They want to make music or want to paint or want to do whatever the fuck it is. Like, I struggle with anger all the time. So instead of punching people in the face, I'm fucking go fuck with some drums or something there. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me though.
That's like today I had an argument with Verizon. I cussed the lady out. Which I have to do every couple of months because my service sucks ass.
Right.
And I don't like to do anything the day of my show. Because when I come in here, it's only 2 hours, but I don't want to be tired by the time I get here at 6 o'clock.
Right.
You feel me? So I try not to do anything. And that conversation I had was exhausting. So I was like, I just sit down. I tried to lay down, but the TV kept buffering, and you know what? And so I just like, I just got time for this shit. I went and got in the shower, got myself together. I cussed the dog out, you know. Right. So and then I sat there, and a friend of mine popped in my head, and I had to write to him. I sent him a message in the inbox, letting him know that no matter what he and I have been through over the years, that I have love for him. You know, he'll always be a part of my heart.
Right.
And I just felt like he needed to know that. And that kind of calmed all that hostility down. And then he hit me back. He was like, you always know when I need to hear something. And always know how to put a smile on my face. Because I didn't realize that he was going through something.
Right. So,
like, here I am fussing, cussing, carrying on, cussing at the dog because the dog keeps getting underneath my feet and he won't move out of the way because he's a little Shih Tzu dog, and just in like a split second, I just had to write something, and that's what I said. I tell people all the time, I don't write music, but I do write, and I write on my Facebook page. And people are like, well, you shouldn't be writing things, and people can use stuff against. Use everything you want against me. I don't care. Because like you said, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. I'm going to live my life how I live it. Sorry you don't agree. But that's just how it is.
I mean, and I feel like with a lot of people, there's always like a need to hide certain things. And like, don't get me wrong, I don't tell everybody everything, but like, if you ask, I'll answer your question. You know what I mean? It may not be the answer you like or the answer you were looking for, but you'll get your answer.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Da-da-da-da-da. Or not, I don't really want to talk about that. Or, you know, all right, well, if you really want to know, like, this is how it works. And, you know, I feel like whether you're, even though you, like you said, you don't rap or anything like that, like, you're a talker. Like, so am I. Inside and outside of music. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people that I know that are involved in this art thing, I won't even say music or anything like that, are expressive people. They just express their shit in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, as far as me being a rapper or, you know, friends being guitar players, or like, everyone says, you know, whatever instrument you play is an extension of
you.
Your personality, your body, whatever it is. And like, I know some people who are complete introverts that are the most talented fucking guitar players, drummers, bass players. But if you talk to them, you put them in a bar, in a public setting, they go into like panic mode.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, let him play that same bar, just him and his acoustic guitar. Like, he'll captivate a room. You know what I mean? But if you approach him afterward, like, to tell him he had a good set or whatever, thank you. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? But like, I think that just whatever it is you do, I feel like should just made a post about this not too long ago. I was like, can you niggas stop rapping over shit that just came out? Like, and that's no shot to anybody, but like, let me enjoy the song first for my own thing before you find the instrumental on YouTube and gotta put your verse on.
There was so many pandas, and somebody raps over an instrumental beat. Cool, if that's what you want to do. But please, can you kill it? Can you do what Verb did for me? Because Verb had a mixtape out a few years ago called Beast Mode. The DJ Samir gave it to me, and I was listening to it. And there's one song on there that I really like. I was like, I like this, you know. And there was a few songs on there I played the hell out of them songs. It's on my phone. I think it's still on my phone. And like, so I'm like, I'm listening to this song, you know, whatever. I'm like, I like this. I was in 5 Seasons one night. I hear this beat come on. I was like, oh, they can replay Verb. Oh shit, Meek Mills. I didn't know because I didn't listen. Like, you know, I don't listen to a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, I like Verb's version of it better.
This is what fucks me up. Is everybody does the easy shit. Like, and I tend to not try to rap over other people's shit, but like, everybody does the Meek Mill or the Designer or the, you know, whoever's popping or whatever song.
Right.
I ain't heard nobody do Ballad of OJ yet, or whatever the song that Jay joined.
Oh yeah.
Or like, I ain't heard nobody do, you know, Loyalty by Kendrick. You know what I mean? I haven't heard anybody do, or Ducky, or, you know what I mean? These songs that
right. I want to see somebody do Sriracha.
Hey, good luck.
Right. I want to see somebody do. People like people watch this and be like Sriracha.
Yeah.
Like put that on everything.
See, one of y'all can do Wi-Fi real quick.
Wi-Fi.
But like, nobody does the tough shit. Like, everybody does the, like, what's popping and what's easy to write to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many dope shit. Like, you know, J. Cole did Dead Presidents years after Dead Presidents came out, but like, you could have put J. Cole's version of Dead Presidents on the actual song Dead Presidents, you know what I mean? Like, or Too Deep for the intro could have gone on, you know, the actual version of the Erykah Badu song he sampled. Like, you don't see that a lot. You just see a lot of the, well, this is what's popping, and I can do some easy turn up shit, and it'll knock in my car and in the club, and when I play it for my friends. And like,
when I put it on SoundCloud or YouTube.
Yeah. And SoundCloud and YouTube, or SoundCloud, and they're getting real diligent about that shit. Like, oh, this song contains a sample of blah, 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 so we can't post it because...
Right, because I got notifications from YouTube. See, one reason why I don't play industry artists on my show is because when you play industry artists, Facebook will shut you down.
Yeah, get your shit flagged
for like
real quick.
A couple days, 30 days, something. YouTube, you get a notification. Well, I just recently got 2 notifications for copyright, but it was just letting me know I wasn't in trouble. It's just that the 2 of the songs on these 2 different videos had copyrights, and I screenshot it and I posted it, and I tagged Steve in the one,
I remember
and I tagged David Dorsey and the other Dro because it was TAG, one of their Super Solid. And I was like, and Steve was like, what do I gotta do? I said, nothing. I said, this, you know what this shows me? That you are on your shit because your shit is copywritten.
Yeah.
I said, that just shows me there's nothing that's wrong. It's just that your shit's copywritten. Right. And YouTube picked up on it.
Like, people were
that's
paying
it.
attention.
And I loved it. Like, I was happy when that happened. You know, because Facebook wouldn't post one of my Instagram videos because I was riding it, and I'm a, you know, just as much as I'm a tech fan, Kevin Gates that's my man, and like, I was, you know, I'll be riding around because Kevin touches, a lot of Kevin's songs touch me about different situations in my life.
Right.
So Instagram posted it. Facebook, we can't post this. It has copyrighted material. I was like, whatever. I don't care. It's on Instagram. I don't care. But I'm gonna play this song because it is 8 o'clock. I know you say you have to leave. Which one you want to play? Henny Things or?
Yeah, let's go with Henny Things.
What is? Explain ATFU2.
Oh, that's just what I titled the song. I just didn't like, it's literally the file version. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was like something I remembered which version of the mix it was. The 2 actually means nothing. Like, okay. Just so I remembered the.
Because I was trying to figure out what the ATFU was.
No, the 2 was just, so I knew what mix it was in the folder that I pulled it out of.
You sound like me. I'd be like doing shit like that too. It'd be like, okay, this one is the edited one. I'm just gonna put 2 at the end of it. So I'm gonna play Henny Things and then hey, let me see what this one. Because I don't listen to music. I don't listen until I get here. Another one of your beats? Boom bap. Yeah.
Still have that like flute in there, so it's like so melodic. Where's my place?
I'm on my way to fuck your bitch, nigga. Long bitch style. So anything is possible, it's all wrong time. The bottom forward, I'm just bringing dirt, let's ride. Rolling down the freeway on my kid, flip side. Okay, now. Nigga, break the gate down. The brown got me ignorant, so don't fuck about my face now. I'm telling about the taste now. Turn this mother out. Now for real, she got kids, I'm about to turn this mother out. Come across the room, steady fucking up the room. Like I got the left the room, so ain't shit ain't left the room.
Kind of gives me that old school, like that old school thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. They just programmed some drums, did something. Well, I was like, man, here it is. All right. It's literally this beat is like 4 things.
It just, like I said, it's just like a taste, like I could just like, it just reminds me like back in the day.
I mean, it works, like, because you can hear this, like, I mean, the song's about drinking, so, I mean, you play it in your car, you can play it in the club, you can play it.
Right! And like, the flow.
It's like kind of like early 2000s.
Right, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, you can just see everybody kind of like vibing to it, you know. Doing a little like 2-step to it.
Right. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Just a little chill shit, you know, like some Snoop Dogg shit, you know.
Show.
We bring it back on the hands, right, lemons away, or any black. My owners hit the time, so return on the Mac. Nigga don't know how to act, so they keep so on the weekend. I need a one man for the Friday, so we drink it, my nigga, we on that.
I seen this when it came in, you know, in my email, and I said anything. I said,
We've all been there.
I'm not a dark liquor drinker. Every once in a while, 3D, like, you need to have a drink.
Hennessy and Crown Royal.
Oh, we had some apple Crown Royal in here and mixed it with something. I was like, oh, I like this.
I gotta stay away from the apple.
Oh, yeah.
It's too sweet. Like, and by too sweet, I mean like I'll drink entirely too much of it because it doesn't taste like liquor.
That's my problem with drinking. Yeah. I like things that I can't taste the alcohol, and then I stand up and go, whoa, wait a minute.
Nah, I need to taste that.
I was at Club Depot, which is on Charles Street. It's a little spot.
Depot.
Yeah, it's a little spot. And the dude I had been talking to was there. So in order for me to be able to be like calm, right, I had to drink. So it wasn't my fault because I didn't start. It was Hughie Shalom's fault. Because he's, yeah, I am. I walked past Hughie. He stopped me. I said, "Hey, Hughie." He said, "What you drinking?" I said,
"All right, we might be able to play this."
"What you got?" So he gave me his drink, which was vodka and orange juice. I think it was. It was something. So I drank that. He bought me another one. And then I bought 2 Long Island iced teas that were made with dark liquor. They were made with dark liquor. I don't know who that is, because I'm not expecting anybody. And oh my God, I'm old. And I took over 600 pictures and don't remember.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Goddamn, you gotta go.
Green things. Imagine somebody going upstairs. But yeah. And then, you know, I don't remember anything like at all except for cussing people out. And I cussed the dude out and he took me home. Because he asked me how I was getting home. How am I getting home? I said, I will walk. I was at Charles Street, and what is that over there? Lafayette? Whatever it is over there. And I live up York Road. I wasn't walking. I couldn't even walk. And then I don't remember taking 400 pictures. And then I don't remember putting my camera away. I remember being outside talking to the DJ. I don't remember a whole lot. But the pictures, that's somebody knocking on. But the pictures came out awesome.
Alright, so you do your best work.
Right.
I go upstage drunk. That's my best work.
Yeah, so I know you gotta go. You say you gotta go.
Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
That's the good time.
I'm glad we didn't talk about another situation.
I don't know what situation that is, but the fact that we didn't talk about it means we probably shouldn't be talking about it.
I had nothing to do with you. It was another party. But like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I gotta put these songs on my phone because I like to have I like to have music on my phone, and I'm trying to collect new music because I keep listening to the same old thing over and over again.
I understand.
So definitely, I got us to that other song.
ATFU.
Yeah.
That was loud. Frank Lewis is on that. He's on the hook.
See, and I have so much, like, I'd be talking about me, like, yeah, EC, and they'd be like, who? I'm like, oh, Frank. Sorry. So, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It was wonderful, definitely. What do you have coming up? Anything coming up soon?
I'm playing Ramset Live next Friday the 29th.
Who's?
Higher Education's release party, like a reggae rock band, from what I've been told. I got that going on. Really just working on another album called Black Tie Affair.
Okay.
And you can download all my shit at xavierjames.bandcamp.com, or you can get a couple songs off of SoundCloud, Xavier James, or I guess it's / Xavier James. Twitter, I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Xavier James, and Instagram, Mr. Xavier James, MrXavierJames.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here because I know you got to go.
Yeah, I got to go practice.
Oh, well.
For
Ramsey.
next week.
There you go.
So.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, everywhere. Social media.
Same thing, Facebook, Xavier James.
Support his music. Oh, what Cabo? What the hell? See, I was just outside looking for you. Knock his ass out. Knock on what door? I don't know. I didn't know you was coming.
Yeah.
This Cabo.
What's going on, G? Hey, follow this man on all social media. Facebook, IG, the streets, Snapchat. Tune into the Cabo and Rose Show coming up next.
Hey, y'all be safe.
Next week I'm doing a special interview at 2 o'clock with guys from Philly named Diamato. I forget what his name is. I'm not even gonna lie. And Apex the Genius will be here.
What up, Pax?
At 6 p.m. Got my little brother coming through. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for coming through. And yeah, I can't wait to see you again. All right, peace.
Put the signs on these chips, though.
Yeah.